An object is in circular motion. The radius of its motion is 2 meters and its frequency is 8 hertz. What is its velocity? So once again, we have to equate the distance that we are covering divided by the total time it takes to traverse that distance, to travel that distance. So, if we once again, we'll derive it all completely again. So return to our picture of our circular path. We now follow along the circular path, complete one revolution, returning and stopping right where we started. That distance that we would have covered is equal to the circumference, which is equal to pi times the diameter, which is equal to 2 pi r. Now, we know that the distance we have traveled for one revolution is 2 pi r. Now, to find the velocity, we would divide it by the total time it takes to do so. We know that the total time to make one revolution is given by the period. So our time is period. So we know that the velocity is equal to 2 pi r divided by period. We remember from before that we showed that the period is equal to 1 over the frequency. So now if we use this and our previous equation that we showed, and we combine the two, we get an equation for the velocity as you're moving around the circle, dependent upon the radius and the frequency, opposed to just the radius and the period. So if we change that around, we would have the velocity is equal to 2 pi r. We're now plugging in 1 over the frequency for the period, which if we do so, we're dividing by a fraction, so it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So it would be 2 pi r times f over 1, which would just give us the velocity would be 2 pi r times f. Now we have an equation that we can use to solve for our velocity in this case, because our initial values that were given is a radius of 2 meters and our frequency is 8 hertz. So if we now plug that into the equation, we would have 2 pi times a radius of 2 meters times our frequency of 8 hertz, giving us our velocity being 32 pi meters per second. And if you plug in for the known value of pi, you're going to get an answer of roughly 100.53 meters per second, which corresponds to answer choice A. Now for the units here, to make sure that the units line up, that you're actually solving for the velocity, you're going to get meters times a hertz. Remember that the hertz is 1 over a second, so you are in fact getting meters per second. So you are getting the correct units. So you should actually be winding up with a velocity. So once again, the answer is A, 100.53 meters per second.